Hey lovies, this is Christina with Karma's Eye Psychic LLC, Mystical Charms DBA here on Universal Spirit Podcast, and we are into Season 12, Haunted Doll Tales. So today we'll be talking about Nicole, the first chosen one. Now, I have to preface this with saying that when I saw this doll on Facebook Marketplace, as you can tell when you look into her eyes, she is designed to have a type of sadness to her. Sadness, curiosity, innocence, something very delicate and sensitive about her. Interestingly enough, this doll can't make eye contact with you. So that's one of the first things that drew me to this doll. The second thing that I found to be ironic about this doll in particular is that I picked this doll up from the home of Stephanie Parza. And if you're unfamiliar, Stephanie Parza went missing in 2019 in Freehold, New Jersey, and was later found unalived in the woods about 2 towns away. Now, I did not know that this doll was at this home until I actually pulled up to retrieve the doll. And of course, Stephanie's parents were not there to meet me per se. They had a bunch of things outside for them to sell, and you just leave the money in place of where the item that you wanted. And just to let you know that this doll actually comes from a victim's home. This was obviously one of the dolls she had or played with at some point in her life, who knows how long, but I do know that for a fact that this doll did in fact belong to Stephanie Parza. That was actually one of the reasons why I actually couldn't sleep the first day when I brought her home. I could not sleep. And it wasn't more that I was afraid. It gave off a very eerie presence. I think I might have been biased because of where I got it from, but the eeriness was undeniable. I could not shake whatever was on this doll. Felt like it was also a piece of that soul, the piece of Stephanie still lingering on there, where the flashes I got from the story of this doll seemed to be a little bit more intense. Now, like I said, I did not really sleep that night that I brought her home, because I usually bring them home before I bring them to my warehouse. Mostly if I pick them up really late at night, I just go straight home. And the fact that I did not sleep tells me that there was just so much to learn from this energy. Now, I'm not particularly sure where Stephanie's mother or father or whoever gave her this doll, where the doll came from, but it seemed as though this doll already had a story. The story just seemed very intense and very, I would say, disappointing, disheartening, and very unfortunate. I could feel the disappointment in the air. And the flashes I got was of 3 generations of trying to break generational curses in a family, and Nicole being, I guess, one of the generational curse breakers, seemed to be not as strong as the 2 that have come before her, her father and her grandmother. And she succumbed to a lot of mental illness, loneliness, shame, being outcasted, and witnessing the death of her own father, and really giving up on hope and turning all of that inward, and no longer being, I guess, a vessel or even an instrument for other people, and that included their happiness or even being helpful. The light in her eyes seemed to have disappeared. That you could tell there was light at some point, where there was optimism, happiness, just wanting to be a help for others, or just wanting to be a part of things, just for your own personal reasons. But now it's like that fire, that excitement, it's just gone now. The energy of this doll, though, no doubtedly, just by looking at her, that there's a million stories that have gone untold because of fear, because of tragedy, and because of the feeling of just never feeling safe, and the soul retreating back to its younger self, where a lot of responsibilities were not required of them, opposed to when you're an adult, when you've got a million responsibilities, that it felt like this soul has just retreated back into a child and remains a child forever. So they no longer have to face the trauma and tragedies that they've already seen. What they have already gone through is enough for them to handle, and they're not able to handle anymore. Nicole clearly has a lot to tell you. So if you are a psychic medium, or if you have spiritual gifts and you are a really good listener, listen to what she has to say. You will be very intrigued by a lot of the things that scare her from ever returning back to, I guess, a human, or ever trying to reincarnate in this place and staying a doll forever, is her more ideal.